Spurs led by as many as 20 tonight, but the Denver Nuggets grabbing their first lead with under 5 minutes to go in the ballgame and not relinquishing it, coming into San Antonio and escaping with a 136-131 win here at the Frost Bank Center. Nate Ryan, the Lone Star legend, TJ Ford. TJ, this is an unfamiliar feeling. The last time the Spurs lost in this building, you and I were here, it was January 25th, but the Nuggets closing it out down the stretch.
Oh, the Nuggets did what the Nuggets did, and they was able to continue to stay with it, continue to keep their pace, their poise, and their two superstars was able to play big tonight. And even though we was up 20 points, they was just able to be relentless, and that's what the Denver Nuggets do. When they stars are able to play and have that chemistry with amongst each other, they was able to will their team to a win.
And in closing time, Jamal Murray was throwing 7-11s down the stretch, finishing with 39 points. This is what he does. It's the 7th game for Murray this season of at least 39. But you see that number there, TJ? Making your foul shots, 15 of 15 at the charity stripe.
He was huge. He's one of the best guards in the league. Underrated. Doesn't get talked about a lot, especially this season. And he was able to be very, very elite tonight and be very efficient. And he carried this team here in the second half with his points and being unstoppable on offensive end.
Nikola Jokic as well with a triple-double for Denver as the Nuggets get the win. Back-to-back wins for Denver. They were on a second night of a back-to-back tonight. They beat the Rockets last night, and then here in San Antonio. For the Spurs, a bright spot, the return of HB. Harrison Barnes with a great performance off the bench. This is the first game for HB in 5 contests. Remember, he missed a couple of games with injury, snapping that Iron Man streak of over 300 games played, but good to see HB returning to form tonight, TJ.
Oh, definitely. You know, he was able to be out for some time and come back and make shots and carried us in the first half. And Harrison Barnes was a right spot for us tonight. You know, obviously, when you look at the second half, you look at the defensive intensity that we had of continuously putting them on the foul line. That was a big difference in the second half that allowed us not to play with our pace, our tempo, everything that we had going in the first half. They kind of took that away, and that's what happens when you foul a lot. You don't get to keep your offensive intensity. You don't get to keep your rhythm. And they went to the foul line, and they knocked down majority of their free throws as well.
You saw that note. First 20-point game for Harrison Barnes since December 23rd. Steph Castle also had a triple-double tonight for San Antonio. Remember, Spurs were playing without Victor Wembanyama tonight. Here were 3 of Castle's 30. More Spurs post-game live after this. Continuing to wrap up San Antonio's 5-point loss to the Denver Nuggets. This snaps a 5-game winning streak for San Antonio. Hard to believe, TJ. This just the second loss that San Antonio has suffered since February 1st. It's not often that somebody comes into this building and beats the Spurs, but down the stretch, Denver getting their first lead under the final 5 minutes, closing it out down the stretch. Obviously, Jamal Murray with 39 points, but the full ledger. Your game stats, TJ, what stands out to you on the final tally?
What stands out is the Denver Nuggets being able to shoot 50%. When you got a team like that and you got Jokic and a guy like Murray, it shows you that if they shoot 50%, you're going to have a long night, even if they was down by 20-plus points at one point. And just being able to, you know, we did a good job kind of guarding the three-point line, but the free throw percentage is not there, and I think that was a major effect to us, you know, not playing as efficient as we did in the first half, the second half.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Denver was ice water from the charity stripe. 34 of 36 at the foul line. And you mentioned it to me in game, TJ. Really getting to the foul line took the Spurs out of their fast-paced rhythm.
Yeah, it does. I mean, when you're fouling, you're putting people at the free throw line, it's going to take you out of your rhythm. It's going to take you out of your flow just based on stoppage. And that definitely affected our offensive ability of being able to drive, get in the paint, kick, and get open looks like we was able to do in the first half.
Taylor,
you got to give credit. You got to give credit to Denver. They did a good job defensive, making some adjustments in that second half as well. But I just think it came down to us just fouling a little too much.
Yeah, making adjustments. Denver shot 4 of 20 from 3 in the first half, 8 of 16 in the second half. The bright spot for San Antonio were all those bench points. 3 players off the bench in double figures. That would include the rookie out of Rutgers, Dylan Harper. We're back to wrap it up in a minute. Just like you like it. Spurs snap a 5-game winning streak tonight. Fall defeat at the hands of the Denver Nuggets. This is a massive win for Denver tonight, TJ Ford, because moves them back even now with Houston and the Lakers in that 4-5 spot 3, 4, 5, all those spots, 3 through 6 right now, separated by one game. So Denver tonight was playing like it was a playoff.
Of course, they come off the road, come off a good win against the Houston Rockets, hit the road, come here and get another steal from the San Antonio Spurs. So those guys are really looking to kind of find their way in the West to try to make this thing as complicated and as difficult as it could be in these standings here for the next few weeks here as the NBA season continues. And it's going to be a race to see who falls where and what matchups are going to fall in line as we get closer to this playoff. So I'm kind of excited for it.
Man, wouldn't it be fun to see these two teams line it up in the postseason?
I don't want to see Jokic right away. Give him to someone else.
That's not what I was expecting right there. We'll wait on the Nuggets. We won't wait on Mitch Johnson, the Spurs head coach, following tonight's loss.
Mitch, what were the defensive breakdowns you saw in giving up those 2 40-point quarters?
Transition was a good amount of it. And I think we got on our heels in general a little bit. They obviously upped the force and the aggressiveness, as you would expect a team of that caliber to do. And we had some moments where we could have been a little bit more connected and probably shown a little bit more poise and composure. I thought the fight was pretty good. I thought there was times where the hesitancy or getting back on our heels took away from the ability to match that force and physicality. But I thought the guys fought their butts off.
How close of a call was it pregame with Wemby, and what went into the final decision?
It was a close call because there was a chance he could play. But it was clear that it was the right decision in terms of there was nothing that we wanted to risk, has kind of been the North Star of every decision we've made or tried to have in terms of our intention with him, and don't think it'll be a long-term thing. So hopefully the rest will do him good.
Optimistic he might play Saturday.
I do, but that doesn't mean he will. It's going to be a wait and see thing. But yeah, he was pretty close tonight. So again, hopefully the rest serves him well. But if not, then we'll go to the next game.
You get Harrison back tonight. How do you think he looked after the time off?
He looked great. He gave us a huge lift. Just more depth, another body. We needed it obviously tonight. A lot of minutes to fill with Victor out, and really nice to have him back in the fold.
Of the, approach and the pace that you guys had offensively down the stretch when the bucket sort of dried up a little bit there for you?
Yeah, I thought there was a group that hadn't played as much, and we tried to keep the pace and be organized, and they made some tough shots, which I think we probably let affect us too much. Some of the shots they made were great shot makers making shots, and so we got to get on to the next play. And I think there's some stuff we can clean up, but I also thought we got some good looks, missed some good shots that I wouldn't want to take back.
You guys gave Carter and Keldon some run at small ball 5 tonight. What did you think of those minutes and how they played there?
I thought they were great. I thought they fought. I thought they tried to front. I thought, I have no complaints regarding the physicality and the competitiveness that we showed tonight. I thought there was some gamesmanship that was good for us to go through and experience tonight.
Seems like you've been doing more small 5 lately. Is that something that you're almost warming up for potentially using in the postseason when you shrink the rotation down?
I don't know if we're going to shrink the rotation down, and I don't know. It's one of the luxuries of having a good team with a lot of good players. I like the idea of playing small at times, I like the idea of playing big at times. I think we've also been pretty good when we've been traditional this year. So it's going to be something that's going to be discussed amongst the staff and talked through, and I'm sure different games will have different personalities and different matchups and whatnot. But I think we have seen some positivity when we've gone small at times, and tonight was probably the largest sample size in a given game.
Yeah, the reason San Antonio went small tonight, obviously TJ Ford, they played without Victor Wembanyama, who was held out just before tip with a sore right ankle. And talking about Saturday's game against the Charlotte Hornets, Mitch Johnson usually playing his cards close to the vest with Victor's availability, but he said he expects him to likely be good to go, barring anything unforeseen.
Oh, we just know, the precautionary. He's been playing at a high level and been playing major minutes, and you have an opportunity to kind of rest him, to try to get him as healthy as you possibly can. I think in today's game, you have to do that, and Spurs and their medical staff has always did the right things by the players, and it was just a good test for other guys to come in and get a good rhythm, get a good flow. I think we played well and played good basketball. Obviously, when you're playing a guy against Jokic, he's going to cause some different issues when it comes to lineups and matchups, and they was able to exploit that when we went small tonight.
The Charlotte Hornets on tap for Saturday pregame show starting at 2 p.m. right here on FanDuel Sports Network. Tip at 2:30. We owe Charlotte. They knocked us off at their place back in early February.
Yes, it's going to be a return that favor. It's a new team that's playing well here on the East. And so they got to come in and we got to get back to Spurs basketball as we did tonight, but we got to be able to finish the stretch.
An unfamiliar feeling. A loss at the Frost Bank Center. San Antonio led by 20, but Jokic and Murray down the stretch, closing it out in a much-needed win for the Nuggets. For Jacob Toby, Sean Elliott, and TJ Ford and our entire crew, I'm Nate Ryan saying have a safe night from San Antonio.